Hello, my lovely Wolfpack, and welcome back to another nightly edition of the Lone Wolf Show, brought to you by Wolfpack Media, the most entertaining place on YouTube for your news and commentary. I'm your host, Justin Huseman, founder and news contributor. We have a great show today, and I can't wait to get started. But before we do, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Join the pack today. Okay, my friends. So, liberal judges are at it again, it seems. So yesterday, a district court judge by the name of Jamal Whitehead has ordered the Trump administration to let in roughly about 12,000 refugees into the country in an effort to try to block the administration's attempts to stop large-scale immigration. Now, I want to ask you guys a quick question real quick. Why do you guys think that the Democrats are fighting so hard, so fucking hard, tooth and nail, to allow in millions of foreigners into the U.S.? I'll tell you what I think. I think keeping migrants and illegal aliens here is a play to overwhelm the U.S. Census and give Democrats ultimate power in the Electoral College. The Democrats want these people here. They want to count these people in our census to gain electoral votes so that another Republican never sits in the White House ever again. Because the way our census works here, let me kind of try to break it down a little bit for you. So, in every state, there are districts, and each district in every state has to do a census to count how many people live in said district. And that basically determines how many electoral counts that are electoral votes that particular district or county or what have you gets in federal elections. And mind you, these are representatives. We vote in representatives to represent each person in each district or each county. But apparently, this is a thing they've been doing for a few years, where illegal aliens are actually counted in this census. And I think that's a problem, because illegal aliens, people that are not supposed to be here in the first place, do not deserve representation within our federal government. It makes zero sense, and it subverts the will of the people. At least that's my opinion. Don't believe me? Am I just a crazy conspiracy theorist? Fine. Then I'd like you to tell me. You tell me why Democrats, going against the will of the American people in a popular mandate, why would they fight tooth and nail to keep these people here? Do you guys really believe that these people in their fucking ivory towers care about these immigrants? Do you believe that? Do you believe that these guys are just bleeding hearts? Oh, the poor immigrant from a third world country, they're just having a bad go of it, so they need to come here into the U.S.? No. I say no fucking way. No fucking way. These people, these are evil people, and they hate you, and they hate America as it stands right now. These people advocate for the complete and utter destruction of our system as it was founded. Now, they want you to sit down and shut the fuck up and do what the fuck you're told. But that's just my take on it. Don't take my word for it, man. Look all this shit up yourself. I believe that the Democrat Party, for their plan for the 2028 agenda, and that's why they're going so hard on anytime Trump tries to deport people. This was supposed to be the largest deportation operation in U.S. history, but it actually stands right at this moment that there is way less people being deported than in the first Trump administration, or even in other administrations before this. because at every turn he tries to get a flight out to get rid of these people, and at every turn one of these rogue fucking crazy lunatic liberal judges tries to stop him at every single motherfucking turn. But anyways, before I get into too much of a rant here, let's go ahead and take a look at the news. From the Washington Times, judge orders Trump to admit roughly 12,000 refugees. Okay. A judge on Monday ordered the Trump administration to admit some 12,000 refugees into the United States under a court order partially blocking the president's efforts to suspend the nation's refugee administration's admissions program. The order from U.S. District Judge Jamal Whitehead followed arguments from the Justice Department and refugee resettlement agencies over how to interpret a federal appeals court ruling that significantly narrowed an earlier decision from Whitehead. During a hearing last week, the administration said it should only have to process 160 refugees into the country and that it would likely appeal any order requiring it to admit thousands. But the judge dismissed the government's analysis, saying it required not just reading between the lines of the Ninth Circuit's ruling, but hallucinating new texts that simply is not there, if you say so. This court will not entertain the government's result-oriented rewriting of a judicial order that clearly says what it says. Whitehead wrote Monday, the government is free, of course, to seek further clarification from the Ninth Circuit, but the government is not free to disobey statutory and constitutional law in the direct orders of this court and the Ninth Circuit while it seeks such clarification. So, I really don't understand. Like, they argue, it seems like they're arguing constitutional law, but tell me, what constitutional rights do non-citizens have? Dude, you're not a citizen. You are not afforded the same rights as an American citizen. You're just not. You're just not. And you're not going to get it. The Supreme Court is ruling pretty clearly in a lot of these rulings that, like, first of all, the President of the United States has great power and pretty much the only power to decide who comes in and out of our country. But I digress. I'll read on. The refugee program created by Congress in 1980 is a form of legal migration to the U.S. for people displaced by war, natural disaster, or persecution. A process that often takes years and involves significant vetting. It is different from asylum, by which people newly arrived in the U.S. can seek permission to remain because they fear persecution in their home country. I think all of these laws need to be absolutely obliterated. I don't know how the hell back in the 1980s any of this shit was allowed, dude. Like, I'm sorry. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Like, this is what they try to do. They try to do this bullshit where it's like, oh my god, a woman and a child are crying, quick, burn the Constitution. No, bro. I'm sorry. It just does not work like that. Just because you guys have issues in some other country doesn't mean you get to come into my house and then I gotta foot the bill for your ass. Like, I'm sorry that that's happening. Maybe you guys should do something to fix your country, but I am tired of the United States of America being a fucking dumping ground for all these third world countries. That they just, like, people just leave their fucking home country. How about stay in your country and try to make your country better, rather than coming here and making me foot the bill for your ass? Ugh, it just makes me so very angry. Anyway, I'll read on here. Upon beginning his second term on January 20th, President Donald Trump issued an executive order suspending the program. That triggered a lawsuit by individual refugees whose efforts to resettle in the U.S. have been halted, as well as major refugee aid groups, who argued that they have had to lay off staff. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're not going to get me. You are never ever going to get me to feel bad for people that work in the federal government losing their jobs. You're not, like, I don't know why they frame shit this way. Like, the American public is just a bleeding heart that, that we're just gonna fucking let everybody in here because we like feel bad. Like, no, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about your situation. I'm sorry that there's people in the federal government losing their high paying jobs. Like, fuck out of here, my dude. There are people in this country like me who are having real problems, dude. People in this country that are American citizens, American bred, American born, and who nobody gives a fuck about us apparently. And it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. I really don't think that these fucking people actually give a shit about immigrants, dude. No, they want the census counts so that they can have the electoral votes. That's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only reason I could think of that they would go completely against the will of the American people. We voted for this. We voted for every single person that is not a fucking American citizen or are here on a visa or something. Every single person to get the fuck out. That's what we voted for. That's what we want. And the fact that they're going so hard on this, especially these fucking judges. And let's take a look. Let's take a look right here. It says Whitehead, 2023 appointee of former President Joe Biden. Gee, fucking that is not fucking surprising. Like, it makes no sense, man. He blocked enforcement of Trump's order, saying it amounted to an effective nullification of congressional will in setting up the nation's refugee admissions program. No. Oh, good Lord. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals largely put Whitehead's decision on hold in March, finding that the administration was likely to win the case given the president's broad authority to determine who is allowed to enter the country. That's exactly what I just said. The president of the United States has pretty much the only authority to decide who comes in and out of this motherfucker. If you don't fucking like it, change the laws, dude. If you don't like how our immigration process works, change the fucking laws. And that doesn't mean that you get to break the law in the meantime. You don't get to break the law until the law can be changed. No, dude, that's... God, why do these people think that that's how it works? That's not how it fucking works. I am tangenting. I am on a rant today, guys. Sorry about that. We'll read on, okay. Try not to get distracted. But the appeals courts also said the government should continue processing those who had already been approved for travel to the U.S., some of whom had upended their lives abroad by selling property or quitting their jobs. Such people had relied on promises made by the federal government that they would be admitted, the court found. Yeah, sure. Promises by the previous fucking administration. I don't think anybody in the Trump administration made such promises. I don't think the American people as a whole made such promises to nobody. I'm sorry, dude. I don't give a shit what fucking sleepy fucking Joe Biden promised you, bro. It's not my fucking problem. It is not the taxpayer problem. The appeals court said the government must continue processing refugees who already had arranged in confirmable travel plans before January 20th to come to the U.S. The Justice Department put the number of refugees in that category at about 12,000. 12,000 fucking people, dude. That's a lot of motherfucking people to just... I really don't understand. During a hearing last week over how to interpret and enforce the appeals court ruling, Justice Department lawyer David Kim said the government took it to mean that the only refugees who should be processed for entry to the U.S. are those who were scheduled to travel to the U.S. within 2 weeks of Trump's order. There were far fewer refugees who met that definition, just 160, the department said. Which that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm a lot more comfortable with that number than 12 fucking thousand. The judge and lawyers for refugee resettlement organizations disagreed with the government's reading. They noted that nothing in the Ninth Circuit Court's order suggested a 2-week window. Instead, Whitehead said the order should apply to any refugees who had been approved to come to the U.S. and had established travel plans regardless of when that travel was scheduled for. Okay, sure. It sounds like a bunch of legal jargon to me. I ain't no lawyer, but I'll read this last part here. Whitehead ordered the administration within the next 7 days to instruct agency offices and staff, including U.S. embassies, to resume processing the cases of refugees who are protected by the court order. He also told the government to immediately take steps to facilitate admission to the U.S. for those refugees whose clearances, including medical and security authorizations, have not yet lapsed. Fuck this guy, man. Fuck all of them. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That's what I gotta say, dude. This judicial coup needs to be reined in, guys. If the duly elected president of the United States can be upended by rogue district judges, then we're lost as a country, dude. Because let's put it this way. If any judge anywhere in this country, unelected judges, mind you, if they're allowed to just do this, to unilaterally block every single solitary move that the president makes, when he has a popular mandate voted by the American people, then we might as well just set the fucking Constitution on fire. We cannot allow this, guys. We cannot allow this. It's a very dangerous corner we're about to be backed into. Dare I say, the beginning of civil war. But yeah, I think that's why we really need to make sure that we got these midterms coming up in about a year and a half. And I implore every single one of you that you need to get out there, get registered, and you need to make sure that you're voting in the next midterm elections. Like, everybody, I get so tired of it that every time a presidential election comes, tons and tons of people, like millions of people turn out to vote in these federal elections, but nobody shows up to vote for their congressmen, to vote for their senators, to even vote for their local, like, city council elections. Like, it's very, very, very important, guys. You have to, what did Benjamin Franklin said when they asked him what kind of government that they gave the people? And he answered them by saying, a republic, if you can keep it. If you can keep it, we need to keep it. It is our moral duty to go out and vote. I know it's a pain in the ass. Y'all got jobs. Y'all got shit to do. I know. But it's a lot better than living in a fucking communist wet dream. I'll tell you that much. It's going out, taking time to go out and vote in every single election that you can vote in. That is a lot less of a pain in the ass than being ruled by a bunch of fucking communist dictators. So think about that a little bit. We'll leave it there, though. You can follow us on X and Facebook. Check us out on Rumble. If you prefer that over YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and join the pack at Wolfpack Media 92 here on YouTube. And we will see you guys next time. Peace.